He's just getting warmed up. Richmond's Morning News with Rich Herrera. This is News Radio WRVA.
8:03 this morning on News Radio WRVA. Thanks for joining us, everybody, on this Friday, August 21st, the year of our Lord, 2026. Got a lot to get to this hour. George Allen will stop by. We'll talk to him. You know, he always says people vote with their feet. You live in a place that you don't like, high taxes, high crime, poor quality of life, then you'll just pick up and move somewhere else. Is that what happened with Harry and Meghan as they leave California? If they finally figured out what I and everybody else who used to live there figured out, California stinks. That's why I keep saying don't CA my VA. We'll talk about that with Governor Allen coming up here in just a bit, and we'll get his thoughts as now we're really going to start getting into the heat of the election cycle as we're getting towards, well, it's already the 21st of August. Before you know it's September, and then we'll be right in the middle of things. And oh boy, we'll get ready for all of those new television ads for the candidates that will be incredibly misleading. So we have that to look forward to. All right, number for you to join us in the James River Air Text line, 833-804-1140, 833-804-1140. We'll get into all of that with you this morning on the show. Quick reminder, we're going out tomorrow. Tom Leonard's, I keep telling this, but please spread the word. Tell people, come by. Tom Leonard's tomorrow. We'll be cooking tri-tip sirloin sandwiches, and we're going to benefit wreaths across America. So I put a post up yesterday with a photo of a headstone that said 2 unknown soldiers. And we're able to put wreaths on every wreath. And what you do is you stand out there. There were more volunteers than we had wreaths. That was one. But you put the wreath there and you lay it on the headstone and you say the person's name. You read their name out loud. That way their memories are not forgotten, especially during the holidays. But it just broke my heart that there were some headstones that had 2 unknown soldiers. So don't know their name, and I couldn't even put a wreath on there. So I said, if I get a chance, I'm going to try to raise some money so we can have more wreaths this year. So hopefully we can cover every headstone with a wreath during the holidays. So I put that picture out there. It's a reason why we're doing this, a reason why I keep pushing this. It's a reason why I want you to come by, and if you can help support us, great. You'll get a great sandwich, and we'll raise money for wreaths across America. All right, number for you to comment, 833-804-1140. I'll be out there tomorrow. We'll start serving at 11 o'clock. Okay, let's now get to Richmond's Morning News Brief. Here's everything going on that we'll share with you on this Friday. That Super Dave's kind of haphazard happy about because his refrigerator's on the fritz, which means he can't go home and take a nap. He's got to go clean out the fridge. Sorry, Dave. I hope do you refrigerate your peanut butter?
No, that stays in the closet.
Okay, good. So the peanut butter's safe. We'll be okay. All right. Here's Richmond's Morning News Brief. Story number 1. Hey, great job, General Assembly. $5 million was not enough to cover the boondoggle of the gerrymandering, redistricting, sham ballot initiative. That's our first story of the day.
Number 1.
Okay. So you remember the whole thing about the gerrymandering? You remember the whole thing about the Tazewell judge was right in the first place? Remember the Democrats shoved that down our throats? Governor signed off on it. General Assembly approved it. They said, we'll give you $5 million to pay. Actually pay for this. All right. So not only did they waste $5 million because the whole thing was under judicial review anyway, and the original judge was correct. Hey, good job, Jay Jones, with that, by the way, as being an attorney general, having an opinion. J.C. Miara said no. Jay Jones said yes. Jay Jones, doing a bang-up job there as Attorney General, buddy. So now we find out that $5 million that they spent of our tax dollars on this sham election, now we find out that the municipalities that actually had to hold the elections, all the early voting, everything else, they didn't even give, the state didn't even reimburse local municipalities that were forced to have this election. They didn't even give them enough money to cover the cost. In fact, if you go to Graham Mumaw, his article at the richmonder.org, just in the city of Richmond, you're on the hook for almost $375,000 in local tax money because the state didn't give you enough money to cover the cost of this election. Tazewell Judge said, I don't think this is proper. It went all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States. Again, Jason Miara said, nope, can't do this. Jay Jones goes, of course we can do this. Turns out the whole thing was unconstitutional, illegal, shouldn't have done it in the first place. And now we find out that the state spent $5 million of our tax dollars. And now we find out that the individual counties and cities are on the hook, including Richmond, $375,000. You're on the hook in Richmond for this whole debacle. Thank you very much, Governor Spanberger. Oh, and by the way, for these cities that want to raise the taxes, now you know why. You get stuck with bills like this from the poor job and the poor leadership out of the General Assembly at Capitol Square. I am not going to support raising taxes when you can't even get this stuff straight. That's story number one. Story number two, Iran might have just messed around and found out, because I'd like you to meet Scott Bessent. That's our second big story of the day.
Number two.
The Navy's gone. The Air Force is gone. The leadership is gone. Part of the problem is so many of the leaders are gone. It's not easy to make a deal. Nobody knows who's leading.
All right, that was the president talking about what's gone on so far between the kinetic war between the United States and Iran. But now, for the most part, the fighting has stopped. The U.S. has a blockade. No oil's getting in or out of Iran. Now we find out that the U.S. Navy is escorting ships through the Strait of Hormuz or the Strait of Oman or that part of the world, and they're getting them through. And again, it's clandestine, so I'm not really sure what route they're taking, but they're taking ships through there. Iran now has this naval blockade, and they've just messed around to find out the president is now going to say, fine, we're not going to walk away. You're not going to win that way. We're not paying reparations, not doing any of that. The American people don't have an appetite for boots in the ground, so that's not an option. So I have my third option, and that is unleash the Kraken, which in this case is Scott Bessent, who said yesterday he will force them to their knees, and we will see, and I'm paraphrasing here, regime collapse. The United States has told anybody, you want to do business with Iran, you pick a side, us or Iran. Kind of a shot across the bow at China and Russia, who've been trying to cozy up to Iran. You want to do that, the entire weight of the economic system in the United States will come down on you. Now, the big question is, if that happens, what happens next? What do the Houthis, Hamas, Hezbollah do once their funding dries up? Will they just float away and disappear? Will someone take their spot? Nature abhors a vacuum. Somebody will fill that spot. Maybe it's somebody we like, probably somebody we don't. And if you have regime collapse in Iran because unemployment is rampant, their inflation is like 700%, young people can't find jobs, and things are getting scarce. If that happens, the regime collapses. Without U.S. boots in the ground or out anyone from the West, who fills that void if the mullahs and the Ayatollah cease to have power? If the IRGC fails, do you have a failed state like Libya, or does somebody step in and fill that void, and who would it be? There's a lot of questions, as now you're going to get down to really what's going to happen. It's not going to be overnight, but Scott Bessent, wow, he knows exactly what he's doing, and it starts on Monday, and we'll see if that brings Iran to the reality that you are not going to win this. That's story number two. Story number three, our big cookout coming up on Saturday.
Number three.
All right, we have the RVA Community Cookout. We started trying to do this a lot. Saturday, Tom Leonard's, they got a grill set up outside. I'm going to be cooking tri-tip sirloin steak sandwiches again. The money we raise will go to Wreaths across America. Follow me on all the social media channels, Rich for America, and I put it up on News Radio WRVA as well. You take a look at that headstone. All the rest have wreaths. This one headstone, two unknown soldiers doesn't have one. Let's not have that again this year. Help me raise money for Wreaths across America, and you're going to get a great sirloin steak sandwich. That's story number three. Story number four, we finally found someone who loves Buc-ee's more than I do.
Number four.
Florida man was arrested for speeding at 117 miles an hour. Sounds like Dave driving. It's a good thing you don't have a sports car, Dave. Good thing you got a truck because you'd be getting tickets left and right.
I used to have a sports car.
Did you get tickets left and right?
No.
Really?
Didn't get any.
Really?
No.
You were smart about it. So you weren't driving 117 miles an hour?
No, never drove that fast on the road. Now, a track is a different story, but never 117 on any street.
Yes, sir. Officer, what can I do for you? You know why I pulled you over? You're going 117 miles an hour. Do you have an excuse for that, son? Well, I had to go to the bathroom when I was trying to get to Buc-ee's. Young man, Buc-ee's is 61 miles away. It's a 70. You're doing 117. Yeah, but Buc-ee's has got the cleanest bathrooms ever. We finally found somebody who loves Buc-ee's more than I do.
If he was doing 117, he should have been halfway there by the time the.
Well, he was 61 miles away in Daytona Beach.
Oh, okay. So he was 61 miles from the Buc-ee's.
From
he wasn't
the Buc-ee's.
Not necessarily 61 miles from his house to Buc-ee's.
No. It's 61 miles from where they pulled him over to Buc-ee's.
Okay.
So he goes, that's why I was going 117. I was trying to get to Buc-ee's to use the bathroom. Young man, aren't there bathrooms between here and there? Yeah, but I really like Buc-ee's.
Is there a tree or something you can pull over and use?
That could have been our question of the day. Have you ever had to? Never mind. Try not to get in more trouble than I get on a daily basis. Anyway, that's Richmond's Morning News Brief for today. You want to comment? 833-804-1140, 833-804-1140. Coming up, we'll talk with Governor George Allen. People vote with their feet. Is that what Harry and Meghan did? Did they finally realize that Gavin Newsom and the progressives in California have ruined it so much that even the Royals are leaving? We'll talk about that next on News Radio WRVA. By the way, today's program brought to you in part